Norway lost 4-1 to France yesterday. Ousmane Dembélé scored a hat trick in 32 first-half minutes. Erling Haaland was benched. Norway's penalty was saved. France topped the group. Norway finished second. That is the match. We will get back to it. But first, 4 hours before that game kicked off, on Karl Johans Street, Oslo's main boulevard, the road that leads straight to the royal palace, 12,000 people began to row. Not in boats, not near water, on a street, in the middle of a city, in the middle of the afternoon, arms back, arms forward, together, in unison. This was the attempt for the world record for the largest simultaneous Viking Row ever performed. 12,000 people on a single street, chanting the same word, moving their arms in the same rhythm. And the match had not even kicked off yet. Norway had not lost. Nothing had gone wrong. There was no result to process, no pain to drown out. 12,000 people came to Karl Johans Street, not after the game, not during it, but 4 hours before it, just to row, together, in broad daylight, on a Friday afternoon. To understand why, you need to understand what this World Cup has meant to Norway. 28 years. That is how long this country waited to be back at a tournament. 28 years of qualification heartbreaks, of watching other nations on television, of wondering whether Haaland and Odegaard, two of the best players on the planet, would ever get to play on the biggest stage together. And then they did. And Norway went mad. They went mad when they beat Iraq in their opening game. They went mad when Haaland scored twice against Senegal, 3-2 at 4 o'clock in the morning Oslo time, and thousands of people marched up Karl Johans Street toward the royal palace, chanting that they were going to wake up the king. They went mad for the Viking Row, for the chant that started in the stands and became a national reflex, the way other countries ring church bells or set off fireworks, because it felt like them, because it was theirs. And so on Friday, 4 hours before kickoff, 10,000 people came to Karl Johans Street, then 12,000. The police counted between 10 and 12,000 people gathered on the city's most famous street, all pointing in the same direction, all waiting for the same signal. Not to watch a game, not to react to one, just to row. The signal came. Someone started the beat. And Oslo rowed. The Viking Row is no longer a chant. It is not even just a celebration anymore. It is a statement. It says, "We are here. We came back. And we are not leaving quietly." 600,000 people were said to be in the capital by the weekend. Tourists, visitors, fans, all drawn to a city that has not felt like this in nearly 3 decades. Now, let's get back to the game, because what happened in Boston deserves to be talked about, even if Norway's manager had quietly decided before a ball was kicked that it did not much matter. Stale Solbakken left Erling Haaland on the bench, Martin Odegaard on the bench, Alexander Sorloth, Antonio Nusa, all on the bench. 10 changes from the team that beat Senegal 4 days ago. 10. The entire first-choice Norway squad sat in tracksuits in the dugout and watched. The pre-match billing had been extraordinary. Mbappe versus Haaland, the two best strikers on earth facing each other on the biggest stage. Instead, the world got Mbappe versus a backup goalkeeper from a team that had quietly decided the game was not worth winning. France made them pay for it in 22 seconds. Kylian Mbappe hit the crossbar before the match had drawn its first breath. The Norwegian defense parted like a curtain in a draft. And then Ousmane Dembélé arrived. 7th minute. Dembélé took a pass from Mbappe, cut inside onto his right foot, dropped a shoulder, and fired across keeper Egil Selvik and into the corner. 1-0. 20th minute. Dembélé found space between three Norwegian defenders, three at the top of the box, and curled a left-footed shot beyond Selvik's diving reach. 2-0. Then of all people, Thalo Osgaard, who, beautifully, has a French mother, pulled one back in the 21st minute. A moment of real quality from the reserves. A moment that briefly made Boston feel like a contest. It was not a contest. 32nd minute. Dembélé completed his hat trick. Same corner, third time. All three goals, the same bottom corner, the same keeper, the same result. A first-half World Cup hat trick in 32 minutes. The second fastest in the history of the tournament. Only Eric Probst for Austria against Czechoslovakia in 1954 got there quicker. Dembélé, the reigning Ballon d'Or winner, reminded the entire world in under half an hour that he is the most dangerous forward at this tournament. Not Mbappe, not Haaland. Him. Norway had one last chance in the second half. A penalty. Jorgen Strand Larsen stepped up, stuttered in his run-up, and hit a weak shot that Mike Maignan saved without breaking a sweat. That was it. Desire Due headed in a fourth in stoppage time. 4-1. France top of Group 1, Norway second. Solbakken will argue his gamble was rational. Norway face Ivory Coast on Tuesday in Dallas. Why risk Haaland pulling a hamstring? Why expose Odegaard to a France side that has now scored 10 goals in 3 games? The logic exists. But logic is cold comfort when Dembélé is curling his third goal into the same corner and the whole world is watching. And yet, somewhere in Boston after the final whistle, a Norwegian fan called Hanne Christine Ostina spoke to a reporter. Not with her head down, not making excuses, she said. "We have been rowing our way overseas. It has been a lot of fun for us. It has been over 25 years since Norway has been in the World Cup. It is a huge thing for us." She said it laughing, after a 4-1 defeat. That is what this tournament has done to a country of 5.5 million people. It has made even the losses feel like something worth showing up for, worth laughing about, worth getting off the bench in Dallas on Tuesday for. Norway go to Dallas to face Ivory Coast in the round of 32. Haaland returns. Odegaard returns. The real Norway comes back. France advance with 10 goals in 3 games and the look of a team that has not started yet. They will be someone's nightmare very soon. But none of that is the story of Friday. The story of Friday is 12,000 people on Karl Johans Street, rowing in the afternoon sunshine, 4 hours before their team even took to the pitch. Not because of a result, not in spite of one, just because it was Friday and Norway were playing France, and that for the first time in 28 years was enough. Norway lost 4-1 to France yesterday, and the world rode on. Can Norway go deep in this tournament? Is Solbakken's rotation gamble going to look like genius when Haaland runs riot against Ivory Coast on Tuesday? Or is it going to look like the decision that cost them top spot and an easier path to the final? And if France keeps scoring 10 goals every 3 games, does anyone in this World Cup actually stop them? Tell me your perspective below, and if you were on Karl Johans Street on Friday afternoon, tell me what it felt like. For more on Norway's World Cup run, make sure to subscribe.